So we are at the TSC.
Yes, we are.
This is
Our
like our
Screenwriting Conference.
This is our 4th year.
It is.
Yeah,
already.
so we've actually
Wow.
had the privilege of seeing you speak before. And we were chatting with Glen Mazzara, who, let's just get it out of the way, I was a huge fan of Life. First season was amazing.
Thank you.
I enjoyed Life.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Great.
2 seasons of The Walking Dead. Come on.
Great, thank you.
Oh. Then you were on Hawthorne, and then, of course, now you've got Damien going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the rumor now that you're going to be involved in the kind of Stephen King prequel for The Overlook.
Yeah, I wrote a draft of that. Yeah.
So now this popped into my head as soon as I heard you were doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a better storytelling, more emotional impact for characters through horror? Because you've Walking Dead, Damien, Stephen King materials.
Yeah, that's... yeah, I think it shows people in extraordinary circumstances. I think we get invested. Part of horror automatically puts you in the movie because you think about what would you do?
Yeah.
All the time.
I'd run out of the house, I'd run back in the house, I'd kill the zombie, I'd run from the zombie, so horror lets the audience play along in a sense.
Right,
And then immediately you start to identify with the lead character. So it is a little bit of a trick.
Yeah, and I was, when I first heard that someone, and I didn't realize it was you at the time, was taking on the Omen, I'm like,
Who's that crazy?
Yeah, what was the thought
why
process?
would
What led
somebody
you
do
to that? Which I'm sure you've answered before, but I'm just kind of curious as to hear your thoughts.
Well,
What kind of
madman
self?
was that? Fox, like all companies, was looking at who's doing what, who's making money, and why aren't we doing the same thing?
That's fair.
So
Okay.
they saw Bates Motel, they saw
Right.
Hannibal, and then we have a producer who's on our show, a guy named Ross Feynman, and he said, hey, how about you reboot The Omen in some way? So they brought that to me, and I said, yeah, I'm a huge fan of that film, but I would like to do, take the Antichrist part really seriously, not just the son of the devil, but really, what does it mean to be the Antichrist? And so now, if Jesus had some sort of awakening when he was 30 and he was baptized and he began his ministry and he started, building his church, gathering disciples, all of that, could you do a dark version of that? I've never seen that. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. Let's take that and go with it. And fortunately, they liked my take, and I wrote the script, and then we sold it.
Which is great, because I am looking forward to the screening tomorrow, because I haven't seen any of it, because I don't have television. I just binge watch everything.
Right.
Just you either give me the pilot, or I'll just watch it all in one go.
Well, that's interesting, because, the show is bingeable.
Yeah.
Okay, the show is
Does
designed.
that change how
It does, and it's designed. But so there are shots in the first episode that are going to pay off in the 10th episode.
I love stuff.
Okay, there's stuff, and you'll see an entire arc. I think, though, when the show is broadcast week after week, people expect episode 1 to be a microcosm of, and then every episode is repeat.
Yeah.
So I've changed the way I write stories, but maybe this wasn't the right format, because people are saying, well, I don't get this. Why isn't it this? Or why isn't it that? Or whatever. But you don't even meet the entire cast until episode 4. Everybody's on stage. So we really took our time to roll it out. And and I have a very strong feeling, and I could be wrong, that when we get to episode 10 and people say, oh, it all comes together, it all pays off, then people will say, okay, now it's worth my time, I'm going to go back. Because if it falls apart at episode 8, you're not going to watch it, right? You'd say, oh, I've got too many other things to watch. So it's really about building the season, and we had time to build that season. And I have a feeling we're going to get a good second look from people once they hear everything pays off. And I'm confident it pays off.
Oh, I have no doubts.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
you
kind
can
of
have
like
your doubts,
the
but-
first time
It's there. I've seen it. I've seen it. I know.
the first time I watched Sixth Sense, there were so many moments where I was like, this doesn't sit right. I don't understand what's happening in this scene. And then I get to the end, I'm like, oh!
Exactly.
That's why he and the mom are sitting in the room staring at each other and nobody's saying anything. I'm like, that's weird. Why are they sitting there like that?
But TV, I'm sorry. but
You know
TV
why.
is so competitive now that people want it now.
Yeah.
And I think when critics say, I don't understand the show, It's like, okay, yeah, well, you're not supposed to. That's
Yeah,
my
'cause you
choice.
wanna
You're
get
not
after
going to
it,
understand
yeah.
the show until the end of episode 10.
I
So I'm
prefer
expecting
that.
that kind of investment
Yeah.
because I want it to be, if you're going to watch 10 episodes, I want it to be worth your time.
Right.
So it's interesting. I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I have no doubts, because I love the source material, so I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what you were going to do with it. I'm like, okay, that sounds like it's going to ring my bell, but...
Well, we also have something that you'll see tomorrow. I don't want to give it away, but we have something that no other show has done, and you'll see it tomorrow. That's kind of
Nice.
cool.
All right.
It's a
Okay.
little filmmaking trick that we invented.
Very cool. And
Appropriate that it's on Sunday too. I
right?
feel like.
There's something there. And I loved in your talk how you made callbacks to, like, television shows that impacted you, but you're just listing them off, and I'm like, I know every episode that he's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's just amazing how iconic some of these shows have been, and the fact that they all tie in with this anti-hero.
Yeah, it's a development.
Trope, which
Yeah.
And I never caught it. I thought I was a fairly smart guy, but listening to you talk, I'm like, oh my god, everything I watch is based on these tropes.
Yeah, you don't see, well, you kind of have to step back, and why would you, unless you're thinking about it or whatever.
Right.
But it was a fun talk. I'm glad
It was
went
amazing
well.
talk.
Thank you.
Loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just So, I'm a TV addict. Sue's a TV addict. Do you have time to watch television?
You know what? We finished shooting Damien in August. So before that, I go through. I watch TV in a different way. I watch when I'm writing and producing. I don't watch TV because then it makes me second guess my own material and makes me want to steal.
Right.
It makes me, oh, they're doing that. I should be doing this, or I should change it, or something like that.
Right.
So I have people on my writing staff, mostly the assistants, who watch a lot of TV, and then if we are accidentally doing something that someone, they can say, oh, don't do that. This was something that, like when I was on the Shield, nobody was allowed to, well, not that you weren't allowed, but nobody watched The Wire because we didn't want to use that material.
Yeah.
But we had our writer's assistant, and we would pitch a scene and go, they just did that on The Wire. So in the summer, after we finished shooting, I caught up. I binge watched a lot of shows, and I caught up and everything. And now I'm getting back into, I have this other project I'm writing while I'm waiting for a season 2 pickup. So I've stopped watching. I watch a lot of comedies. I'll watch, Veep or whatever. The only drama I'll watch when it's on is Game of Thrones, because I don't want that to be spoiled, and I find that such an impressive show and so different from other stuff I'm doing. But I'm not really watching a lot of TV right now, and I sort of feel, I'm feeling a sense with a lot of TV is being very well written and very well produced, but I'm not sure if it's pushing boundaries as much as I want to push boundaries. So I find I get frustrated with a lot of stuff that I'm watching. Even though there's a lot of great stuff out there.
They're playing it safe though.
But I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that like I'll watch Outlander. I think that's pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
So I'll watch that. But I do think a lot of shows are just kind of hitting a mark and
Yeah.
stopping.
Now, is that on the creative side, or is that something that's brought down by, like, the broadcasters say, we don't want you to push these boundaries?
No, I think it's the writers.
Okay.
I think it's the writers. Yeah.
That's cool. And, Amanda's been pushing me to watch Outlander, so it's on my list.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really well done show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Glenn, thank you.
Okay,
This was
good. Is this what you want?
Yeah.